Hi everybody, welcome to my final project showcase. I chose to do a video so that I could narrate and explain some of the things that I put into the course. So just to get started, I built the course in the E-Extension, which is a national collaborative campus. I use Moodle as the software, and I also use Storyline to create some of the content that went in here. So you can see this is our landing page for the classroom. It's called Communications Foundations because there's going to be more than just the piece that I'm to talk about today. So you'll see that we've built one on media relations and another on crisis communications that I'm working on. But here is the piece that I'm using for our class, and it's called the Communications Toolbox, and it focuses on extension publications. So there will be other pieces that go into the Communications Toolbox. So I didn't want the title to be misleading or vague, but because it is a working classroom, there will be other things added that will be communications related. So I felt like I needed to explain that. So let's step into the publications module, and it will ask us to enter in normal mode. And it took a second to load. All right, and we're going to start from the beginning. This is part of Articulate Storyline. They give you these characters that you can use and animate, and so I chose to use this lady to be our guide through the project. I thought it was kind of fun to have her provide instructions as we go. So this is the welcome screen. Next, we describe the objectives for the class, and that's number one, to be able to identify 3 places where you can get extension publications and to understand the best method to deliver it to the client. Our learning gap with extension agents seems to be that if they send out publications by downloading the PDF and sending that publication to a client, if any changes happen to that document, it's no longer reflected in the PDF, so the client may not have the most current publication. So that's why we're encouraging them to send the URL to the document, so if any changes are made to the document, the client's getting the most current one. So that's the 2 objectives for this study module. And so just wanted to set up a scenario for them and said a client just called you and asked for a publication on azaleas. And here I wanted to test their knowledge of where they can find the publication before I actually tell them about where they can get it. So this is kind of a pre-test question. But I like the fact that I built it into the presentation itself rather than make them take a pre-test, then give them the materials, and then give them a post-test. So in this module, I've built the questions in so they'll pop up at different places along before and after they've received the content. So I'm going to go ahead and select the correct answers. If they were to select the wrong answers, it would tell them what the correct answers are. So, whoops, here we go. So we're going to submit that, and we get feedback that says you're right, you selected the correct response. Have you ever been watching a football game only to find out later that it was previously recorded from another year? How did that make you feel? Well, the same thing can happen with extension publications. And in the next video, we'll show you how to send the most current information so your client gets the information they need in a timely manner. Okay, so this was an example of a connect type activity. I chose to do a rhetorical question. And so I was trying to set the stage on how the client would actually feel if they realized that they got material that was out of date. So next we're going to view a presentation that talks about, and I'm not going to show the whole video, but this is our subject matter expert, and he'll be presenting the information.
So the first part is number of publications. You can write number of publications as an agent, or you can work with other agents or specialists. They get peer reviewed and they're updated every 3 years. So there's 3 ways to get them.
Okay, so Josh Payne is in the Office of Communications, and he's explaining to them the 3 ways that you can get the online, you can get the numbered publications either online, in a section for sale, or we have another place that's called print on demand, where it actually goes to Office Max and gets mailed out from Office Max. So he's explaining that here. You'll notice that I put closed captions in the video. That's something we need to do at the university for 508 compliance. I did have some trouble getting the captions to work correctly. They seem to always want to be on, and I wanted the option to be able to turn them on or off, and YouTube allows that feature to work properly. So I had a little bit of trouble with articulate storyline. It was quite cumbersome to put the closed captions in using articulate. So I used a product called Camtasia, and Camtasia is really cool in the sense that it lets you type in the captions in 4-second increments. So it lets you play the audio clip for 4 seconds, and then you type what you hear, and then you can hit the tab button to go to the next section of 4 seconds worth of video. So and it syncs up with the video. It's really easy. Definitely the way to go to put captions in. So we're going to go back to the classroom, and we're finished watching the video. So now we're going to ask them some questions. And one of the things that was covered was how often are extension publications reviewed, and it was every 3 years. Okay, and then here's one of our do type activities. I made this in Storyline, where you can, they call it drag and drop, or a hotspot type activity. And so here I wanted the extension agent to choose the correct way to send the publication, which would be sending the URL. So you drag that over here to the mailbox, and you hit submit, and it tells you that you've done it correctly. So also going to go back to the question that we asked in the beginning. What are the 3 most common ways to get an extension publication? And that would be print on demand, for sale, or online. This was the second example that I used for a connect type activity. This page I'm really proud of. Actually is linked out to the web. So when we click on the search box on the left hand side, that is a web app that takes you to the extension publication site. And we're going to have the extension agent look up the actual publication, which is called Selecting and Growing Azaleas. And once they find it, they'll drop the URL into the link that's down here next to our guide. So let's do that now. And here's the publication we were after. And so rather than getting the PDF, we're going to go up here and grab the URL for it. I just did a select copy. We're going to close this window, and we're going to click here and do Command Paste, and we're going to submit our answer. And our guide says that's correct. So here is the result slide that lets us know how we scored. It's a compilation of all the questions that occurred throughout the course, and it said we scored perfectly. If you want to go back over the answers, if you got them wrong, the correct answers would show if you go back through and review the quiz. So, our guide's just telling us that, thank you for your time in this module, and wanted to set the learner up for what to expect, what's coming in the next module. And so we said in the next module would be covering news writing skills. And of course we would put that in the communications toolbox as the next module. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you so much, Dr. Hart, for allowing me to be part of your pilot.